Good morning. It is Wednesday, June 17th, the 168th day of the year, and it's 58 degrees to get your day started here in New London. Sunrise this morning was at 5:56. The sun will set this evening at 9:04. Taking a look at the weather this morning, and bear with me, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on the weather today than I usually do because there's a lot going on today. First off, taking a look at the radar, these storms up here in the Midwest kind of heading our direction. That is the beginning of all the severe weather that's going to hit the Midwest and the Ohio Valley today. Also still see the tropical system kind of churning away down here in the Gulf. Taking a look at the outlooks for severe weather today, really they haven't updated it much. We still have that very enhanced risk out here in the Indiana, Illinois. And I'm going to zoom in here and we'll take a little bit closer look at our area just so you know kind of where we stand. So as the overall categorical outlook, we are in the level 1 of 5, the yellow here, the slight risk area. As far as the tornado risk, very western Huron counties in an elevated risk. We are in just the 2% risk here in our portion of Huron County. So we can't rule out the possibility of a tornado later today, but not real likely in our area. As far as the wind threat, we are in the 15% chance for damaging winds in our area. Again, just barely on the line here with the western part of Huron County in the enhanced risk area here. And as far as a hail threat, we are in a little bit farther from the slight stuff there, but we are in a 5% risk area for hail. So can't rule out a severe thunderstorm tonight. Really, it looks like we shouldn't. Can't rule out a tornado, but not very likely in our area. It looks like we'll probably have some thunderstorms come through, maybe some thunderstorm-associated winds, and might get a little bit of small hail, but unless things change a lot here during the day, it looks like we aren't in the worst of it still, that's for sure. We'll take a quick look here at the tropical outlook, and National Hurricane Center's now got this thing forecast to become a tropical depression, then upgrade to a tropical storm before it comes back over land and track up into the deep south. So not a big threat as far as what we would think of typically with hurricanes as far as high winds or storm surge or anything, but it is going to drop an intense amount of rain on this part of the country where the ground is already saturated from all the rainfall they've had. In fact, if we look at excessive rainfall outlook here in the south, a big area outlined to expect excessive rainfall, which could lead to flash flooding and flooding in that part of the south. And as I zoom back out here, even up in our area, with this storm system coming through, it is going to dump a huge amount of rain. Even if we're not in the real severe stuff, we're going to get a bunch of rain here late this afternoon, this evening, overnight. So it's going to be really wet out there, that's for sure. Finally, and we'll take a quick look at the model run, the latest model run from this morning. This is showing at 9 a.m. this morning. As I advance the model, we'll see that system continue to build. The first batch of rain is going to get into our area probably around 5 o'clock this afternoon. It'll start out with light rain, then moderate and some heavy rain. That's kind of the first batch. Now, the real severe weather is going to be along this line out here. If these supercells can stay discrete and stay separate before they combine into a squall line, the potential out in this area is for some very intense, even long-track damaging tornadoes. Going to have to be watched real close. But you see in our area, it's kind of more broken up. And the more rain and cloud cover we get early on, the less likely we are to have anything really severe later, because that's going to take a lot of the energy out of the atmosphere. So then about, between 9 and midnight, the second batch comes through our area where we could get a little bit more of a thunder shower, but even the model shows it kind of starting to break up already in our area by that late in the evening, while there are still some very intense cells off to the southwest. And then by still a few thunderstorms coming through there, but by 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, it's gone and over with. So definitely stay alert this evening and into the early overnight hours for the potential for severe weather, but it doesn't look right now like, again, we're going to get hit with the worst of it, that's for sure. If something changes, I'll jump back on later with an update. Our forecast for today, increasing clouds with a high near 78. For tonight, expect showers and thunderstorms before about 2 a.m., then maybe a lingering shower or thunderstorm after 2. We'll have a low overnight around 64. For your Thursday, we do have a slight chance of showers afternoon tomorrow. It'll be mostly sunny with a high near 76. On the calendar today at the library, Chapter Book Storytime Junior at 10:30, and at 2 p.m., the Lorain County Metro Parks will present a program all about amphibians and reptiles. Well, today is National Apple Strudel Day, it is Eat Your Vegetables Day, and Stewart's Root Beer Day. Taking a look at this day in history, in 1885, in over 200 packing crates, the Statue of Liberty arrived in New York Harbor. In 1928, Amelia Earhart became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. Now, she wasn't the pilot on that flight. She was a passenger and flight log keeper during the 20-hour, 40-minute trip to Wales. In 1985, the television network Discovery Channel began its broadcast. And in 1994, an estimated 95 million Americans watched the live broadcast of the slow speed chase involving a white Ford Bronco in Southern California. Well, the answer to yesterday's trivia question, the Monterey International Pop Festival was that big music festival. Today's question, in 1901, the College Board introduced its first standardized test. Now, that's the forerunner to this well-known test. What is that test today? Well, finally, I'll leave you with this. It was on this day back in 1972 that 5 men were arrested breaking into the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate complex. The event would be seen as the catalyst for the eventual downfall of President Richard Nixon. In fact, 4 years later, in 1974, Nixon became the first U.S. president to resign from office. Well, I'm Steve. Thanks for spending some time with me this morning. I hope you have a great day. Do keep an eye on the weather here this afternoon, this evening. Again, if it looks like we're going to get anything really severe, I'll probably jump back on here this evening. But stay safe out there, and I'll see you on the next video.